Hello guys, and welcome back to the channel. Today's video I'm going to talk a little bit about what I would consider probably the best sporting event I watched for the last 20 years at least. I'd say I can't remember being more invested in anything for over the last 20 years. As a Man United fan, obviously growing up I would have been very much invested in them when they were doing well, but they haven't been doing well for the last couple of years. I still watch them all the time, but yeah, and there's been a couple of sporting events that have been good. Tiger winning in the Masters was a good one. There's been a couple of Formula 1 ones that were up there pretty good. When Verstappen won that time against Lewis Hamilton. There's been a couple of Super Bowls that I think were pretty good, pretty epic. But I don't think anything comes near the whole story behind Rory McIlroy's win last night at the Masters. 14 years after he won the first three of the majors, so he only had this one to round out the Grand Slam of majors, and he's come close on so many occasions over the last 11 years. He's come really close. He came close before in the Masters, before he'd won the other three, or before he had three of the other majors. He was 4 shots ahead on a Sunday, and he let it slip. And over the last, certainly over the last 11 years, he's come close a couple of times in the Masters. He's come close in some of the other majors, and he let it slip. You know, he's human. He can't win them all. But there's been a bit of a well, actually more than a bit. There's a lot of kind of talk around in the journalism space around Ireland. I don't know anywhere how far it reaches. People talking about him being a bottler, or being a choker, or not being able to close it out. And I always found that a bit unfair, because he'd won 4 majors. You know, he'd won the Open twice, he won the PGA, and he won the US Open. And he'd almost won the Masters before. He's almost won it more than once before, but he was certainly had it in the bag at one point. But when you look at somebody like Jack Nicklaus, who I think won 18 majors and was runner-up in 17, so nobody ever calls Jack Nicklaus or refers to him as being a bit of a choker or a bottler. So I always thought it was a bit unfair with Rory. But I think the reason why I'm making this video is I think his story is just good for anybody in sport. You know, he was 11 years grinding it out, and it just goes to show the consistency that I'm always banging about. He just kept showing up year after year, going to all those tournaments, having the press get behind him, bigging him up, and then as soon as the tournament would start, the press would turn on him and turn it into the whole Rory's going to choke again. You know, we all invested, we all thought he's going to win it, and then when he wouldn't finally close it out, if he'd lose it, some days he wasn't even making the cut. They would then turn to say, will he ever win another major? Was it a fluke that he won majors? Was he done? Should he finish? And then his whole personal life came into kind of everybody's view. We all knew quite a lot. Well, we were getting bits of what was going on in his personal life, which I always felt was a little bit unfair. I know if you're famous and you're out there and you're making a lot of money, your personal life can become fair game. But I just always thought Rory didn't get the respect that he should have got for what he had done. But now he has it, and it's fantastic, and it's just a testament to him, like I said, his consistency and his ability, his mental fortitude to just show up year after year after year after year, put himself out there, challenge the best golfers in the world, push them to their limits, and then he would fall short, and he just kept believing in himself. He just kept coming back. There have probably been a couple of golfers in that period who've come and go. You know, somebody like Spieth would come to mind. He's not gone, but like Spieth was doing well, was winning a couple of majors, and he fluffed one up at the Masters one year and hasn't really been himself. And there have been a number of other golfers who've been the same, but somehow Rory kept that mental fortitude, kept that kind of sporting tenacity, was somehow able to keep himself super consistent, to just show up. And that's the message. He just kept at it. He didn't let it go. People talking about, like I said, talking about him being a bit of a choker, but I don't buy that at all. I think hats off to him. Like I said, that's why I think his win last night was probably, I'm gonna say it was definitely the best sporting event that I've watched over the last 20 years. There have been a few probably before that I think were great, but I think it definitely is up there with, I think for now it puts Rory as probably the greatest Irish sports person of all time, I would say. There are other on the list I think Roy Keane will be up there, Sonia O'Sullivan, Barry McGuigan, Andy Lee. There's a few others, probably Dennis Irwin, probably a few more that don't come straight to mind. But yeah, I think Rory is probably, if he's not top of that list, then he's certainly up there, and I say kudos to him and hats off. And you know what, it's been a long time since I shed a little tear at a sporting event, a tear of joy, and last night that was true. When he sank that putt, I mean, he definitely brought us through it with how he went about it. The shot on the 13th that he just should have been just a simple layup, and I don't know what he was thinking. He just hit it wrong and went for the wrong side of the hole. Well, I'm not even a golf expert, but I'm just rehashing what the commentators were saying. But it was evident that he made a real boo-boo. And then again on the 18th, again, he just made a mistake that he just think. And then to go and play the playoff hole on the 18th, and he's thinking, right, you just don't do what you did on the last time round. And when you watch his playoff hole, the 19th hole was the 18th of Augusta. It was just as perfect as you could get in a sporting scenario, and no better way to win a championship than to do what he did, and to just take it and just ram it down the mouth of all his naysayers and just say, you know what, I've done it. I am the man now. I am part of that Elite 6. It wasn't Elite 5, and now he's made it Elite 6. Only 6 people have won all 4 majors in the golfing Grand Slam, and Rory's now one of them. Yes, and like I said, it's only due to his constant consistency, his constant belief in himself, his constant ability to overcome all the naysayers and all the shit that he's had to put up with and go through. The amount of times that he's had absolute mental trauma when he's finished some of the masters or some of the golfing majors. So for him to just bring it home on the one that he needed the most, and I think, and I really hope, I genuinely think that he's going to win a couple of majors now over the next couple of years. He'll probably get another 3 or 4, I would say. He's only 35. Justin Rose, who pushed him to the pin of his collar yesterday, is 44. So there's definitely a good 10 years left in Rory of him going for it. And I hope he does win more, and I think he will. I think this has unlocked now. I think he always had the belief in himself. I mean, he had to, otherwise he wouldn't have won it. Believe in himself that he is the best, but I think now he's proven it to himself. I think it's going to take a lot of pressure off, and I think he's going to perform really well from here on in. So this is a bit of a strange video. It's certainly golf related, but I think it's true of anybody who's struggling with any sort of consistency or doesn't have belief in himself in sport, and this definitely falls for me sometimes. Probably my biggest Achilles heel is sometimes that I just don't believe in myself like I should. Yeah, I think Rory's story is definitely something that we can all learn from. He's just a remarkable sports person. He did a remarkable thing. He did something that only a handful of people have done, and I say hats off to Rory. Yeah, he's definitely inspired me. The motivation for this week's running is definitely going to be the pictures of him kind of going down onto his knees on that 18th green on the 19th hole at Augusta. Just a phenomenal sports person, phenomenal result, and I say chapeau and hats off to him. Anyway, that's it for this vid, guys. I hope it helps somebody. If anybody's out there struggling and they can't get their mental head in the game, just check out Rory McIlroy and do a little bit of research on what he did and what he went through, and hopefully it will help you. But anyway, in the meantime, guys, you know what to do. Run far, run fast, but most of all, run sound.